Today I want to try something I have not done before, and that is take apart the dash on this 1999 Chevrolet Tahoe giant truck thing. I call it the Brontosaurus. My dad used to drive Suburbans when I was a kid. I remember like riding in the back on long camping trips, looking out that back window. Fond memories in the days before laws about seatbelts and such. Anyway, so let's go over the problem and the symptoms of why I am taking apart the dash on this truck. The reason why I'm taking apart the dash on this truck is because the fan is always on high, and I've come to the conclusion based on testing that the head unit that controls the fan speed, in fact, in particular the switch that you turn to turn the fan on or put it at different speeds, is stuck on high all the time. So we need to take apart the dash on that, which I have not done yet, and get in there and remove that and remove and replace that defective switch and control unit. So why don't we get to that? All right, this is what we got. Turn the car on. The fan is on high all the time. No matter where you put the switch, it just ignores you. Now, the highly technical method that I've used to determine that this switch is the problem. Well, I used to be able to get the fan to cut out when I did that. But I've actually checked at the resistor and everywhere else, and everything points to this. Instead of watching me smack this thing looking for a result all day, let's take this dash out. Well, actually we're not going to take the whole dash out. I'm hoping, based on what I see here, is that all we have to do is get this outer bezel off of here. Now, some of you out there maybe already been here and you've got some words of advice for me. Well, the word of advice I have for you that have also not done this before is don't break anything. That would suck. So we're going to very carefully try to get this sucker off here. Most dashes come apart with clips and screws. They make a set of plastic pry tools that are specifically for doing this kind of work. That way you don't damage those plastic components. I'm going to be using a small pry bar. Here, after I tell you to use plastic, I'm going to use something that's metal. I'm going to have a pocket screwdriver and a Phillips head screwdriver, and hopefully these will be the tools that I will need to get this apart. I'm going to start with the lower part of the dash, because what I've seen in most situations like this is it's a progressive thing, that if you get apart, like usually the lower part of the dash, that there's access to fasteners for the upper part. And already I'm seeing fasteners down here. They look like 8mm to get this lower piece off. Let's start with that. Okay, I was wrong. It's actually 7mm. It's okay, it's not the first time I've been wrong. It won't be the last, I'm sure. Now that we have those fasteners out, looks like the parking brake has a little bit attached. Looks like we twist clockwise and it'll go through, and then back up in behind here. It's going to be nearly impossible for me to see that little clip there. I'm going to push that in with a pocket screwdriver, and then this other end is going to come off of it. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. Looks like there's one on the other side too. There we go. Let me just pull the rest of it away. Almost looks like none of that was necessary, since these are just plastic clips. What that means is that there weren't any fasteners holding this lower piece on, and I can just pop the upper piece off. So, let's try that. Be gentle. Whoever came up with this, thank you. Except for the part where the gear shifter's in the way. Haha! You're gonna do things like move gear shifters around, parking brake, then move gear shifter. Now watch for wires and things like that, like for these switches and things. You need to unclip. Could involve two hands, but you gotta unclip this. Anyway, got them unclipped. I'd like for this annoying beep to go away. Ooh. Forgot about the headlight switch. Need to unplug that too. Or the headlight switch will just fall out. I unplugged it at the same time. I've known these to go bad, so if you needed to replace this, that's how easy it is. Now let's get rid of that beeping. It doesn't look like this is screwed in. It looks like it's just held in with plastic clips, so pull it out. Yay! Now I can get to these connectors. See how this one's got like teeth on the outside that hook it on? And lastly, we have this one, which has like a little thing you push. And there it is. Easier than I thought. Let's get the new one. Alright, we have our nice new part. Here's our old part. Now I've got a good quality part here, but something you want to check, and this is just a little FYI. You see these little guys here? They just twist and come out. These are all the lights. Like when you turn on your headlights and you got to see this stuff at night. So if you've got a couple of spaces that you can't see at night, it's most likely these bulbs, and all you have to do is replace those bulbs. The reason why I'm showing you like this is sometimes I've seen these parts come without those bulbs installed, and you have to switch them over from the old unit. So make sure the bulbs are there before you go through all the trouble to put this back inside the car. It's a moment of truth. Yes, my new part. Plug everything in. Everything really only plugs in one way. Let's see if we can work the fan before we get it all the way back in. No fan! Alright. It all works like it should now. The switch was bad in the other one. Let's get this back together. I gotta hand it to them. They really did make it easy to pop this in and out of here. Because poof, I'm just about done. And plug my headlight switch back in. Restore electrical connections. Pop my headlight switch back in. Now that everything's plugged in, fish it back down in here. Now if you feel something not wanting to go in, don't just start shoving on it. Just find out what's holding it up and then push on it. You know, now I know why this thing has such a squeaky dash. One more thing real quick here. It almost looks like this fan switch here can be replaced on its own. My parts people didn't have a listing for it at their place, but it looks like you just sort of little tabs over. Oops. This is the old one, so I'm not too worried about it. And you can pull it right out of there. Looks like you can replace just this switch. And if we're curious about what happened inside of it, almost looks like we can take it apart. And since it's toast anyway, there we go. As you can see, it's a rotary switch. So as you turn this, you've got this little tab sticking up here that makes contact with each one of these for different speeds. It's called a rotary switch. So as you turn it, it either makes contact here, 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 depending upon what the fan speed is, and outputs the 4 different speeds here. Each one of these is connected to each one of these, and then this one that sticks up over here will always make contact. So that's how the switch works. It makes contact in 2 places at once. When it's sitting there like that, you see that little ridge? It's not making contact, but as soon as you move it, it makes contact in 2 places. And that's how that switch works, by making contact inside there. Cool, huh? It almost leaves me to wonder if I had to come in here and just clean these contacts up with a little bit of like crocus cloth and sprayed it with some contact cleaner, if this might have fixed it. And FYI, I will save this because of these very bulb things right here. Even though I know the switch is bad, I know these bulbs are good, so if I need these bulbs at some point in the future, I know I'll have them. You never know. And the corresponding bulb works for the corresponding parts. Like when you click this and the light turns on, well, if you look directly behind it, you got this little black bulb here. So this would be the bulb, and as you can see, it's got that amber thing on the outside of it to give it that color. 'Cause they're all white, they just put different color things on the back of them. More useful information. At least I hope it's useful information. Now, I did not have to remove that lower part of the dash. I could have just as easily popped off the upper part and been done with it. So removing those screws and everything on the lower dash, I'm gonna leave it in there just to show you how it's done, how to get that parking brake lever thing out, in case you need to know it. But as far as replacing this control unit up here, you can just pop the upper part of the dash out. You just need to move that shifter lever down out of the way so that you can get that cover back. And be careful, because there are wires that are connected to things in there that you don't want to mess up while you're there. Anyway, I hope this information was useful to you. You can always visit me at EricTheCarGuy.com. And as always, stay dirty, or in this case, stay sweaty. See ya.